starting cleaning for the day. So I am starting the wash. My daughter's like, this stuffy has stains on it. It needs wash. So now I gotta wash. Which is true, but like on the list of my priorities, pretty low. But to her, it's a big deal. So I gotta wash her stuffies. And I'm like, yeah, how did it get those spots on it, Daisy? Were you touching it with chocolate hands? Probably. Just being my toddlers, just like every other day. Well, I guess she's not really a toddler anymore. Like I was saying about that the other day, and I'm like, technically she's not a toddler because she's 5 now. But I guess she's just a kid. But in my head, she's still a toddler a little bit. But we had so much fun yesterday. I'm getting like the reselling itch. So I was hyper focusing on getting a lot resold, and you know, it's about to be 2026. It's a new year, out with all the baby and grief stuff. So I started listing a bunch of baby stuff because I want to get our basement cleared out so we can get that finished finally. So yesterday I was like listing, and then I got Daisy from daycare, and then I was like, oh, we need to do Christmas lights. If I don't do them tonight, I don't know when. And I knew near us, the Clipper Stadium, they do a Christmas light thing because we get emails at work because like, I guess it's not even called the Clipper Stadium anymore. Okay, whatever. It's the Clipper Stadium to me because they were bought out. But I know it as the Clipper Stadium. Well, anyway, I know like my work sponsors stuff with them. So I got emails that they have like a light show. So we went and did that. And then Daisy fell asleep. And I'm like, oh. But I wanted to take her when it was dark enough out that she would be able to see the lights. / sometimes when she gets home from daycare, she's really tired. So I tried to take her at like 6 something. Well, she started falling asleep because I forgot, like she falls asleep in the car. So I'm like, oh no, she's going to miss she's going to miss the whole like light show and everything. So I was like, Daisy, wake up, Daisy, wake up, Daisy. You know, I forget how easy little kids fall asleep in the car. So she fell asleep, but then finally when we got there, she woke up because I think she knew. And it was really cool. So it was like $25 for the light show. And it was, my favorite part was when we went into the stadium. It was like totally lit up. That was awesome. And the music was like coordinated to the lights and all that. They also did provide drinks and food, which was a little expensive, but like we got hot chocolate because it was freezing out yesterday. It was so cold, like our hot chocolate went pretty cold kind of quick. And the food was a little expensive, but it was worth it because we were hungry, and yeah. But it was fun. And then they had, I would say it was a little overpriced, but they also had other stuff there too, which was included. So they had free pictures with Santa, so we did that. They also have like this display of trees that are by like nonprofit, like really cool organizations, and they like compete. So you pick your favorite tree and you vote on it, and you donate like $2. I gotta finish that because my credit card thing didn't get accepted because I have ADHD, and I don't know, it's my automated credit card is screwed up in my phone, so I gotta fix it. But we did have a couple favorite trees, but it was cool just going through the trees with her, and she'd be like, this one is a school one, and they all had different themes. It was cool. But it was freezing. Good morning. I'm gonna start doing my dishes. And then afterwards, after we did all that fun stuff, oh yeah, and then Santa told us to get a book called Olive about the other reindeer. I'm gonna Google that because it sounded cute what Santa was saying. And they were like the Santa and Miss Claus really looked like Santa, yes, I'm judgy about my Santas, but they really looked like the real deal. So that was cool. And remember when you get to an age where you're like, well, that Santa doesn't have a real beard, or like that type of stuff. But anyway, they looked legit. And they even had little they had an Olaf thing. So Daisy was like, Olaf, how'd you get here? So that was cool. And there was lights even going into Clipper Stadium to go see Santa. So it was fun time. And my husband was right next door. He does axe throwing in the wintertime. So we went and visited him, but I didn't park close enough. And I was like, oh, it's not that far. But let me tell you, in 20-degree weather or whatever it was, I was like, Daisy, we should go back. But we made it. We quickly, because I'm like, oh, at this point, if we go back, I'm not going to go see him because it's just too cold and I hate the cold. So we just full speed ahead and we made it. And that was cool. One of my friends made us Christmas cookies, which was really sweet. I've not made Christmas cookies yet. A little slacking with that. Have you guys made Christmas cookies? I don't know. I've been too busy. I thought about it because Daisy the other day was like, Mom, this is where she saw my Santa tin. And she's like, Mom, this is where we put the cookies for Santa. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And she's like, and this is where the milk goes. She's funny. This is a fun age with Santa because she's old enough to now kind of get it and believe and all that. So we've been watching. I went to Family Dollar and they had for $20 five of the Christmas classic movies. So we've been watching that. Yes, it's $20, but if you figure it out, if you stream each one, it's probably more money than that. And I like being able to have it forever. My husband's like, why would you buy that when you can just stream? I like having the physical copy, especially if it's a classic, like Rudolph. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You gotta have the hard copy, okay? There's certain movies, you just gotta have the real thing. That is one of them. I need to change this dishcloth. Hold on. Yeah. Hello, welcome in. Welcome in, peeps. Hope you can hear me. Eventually, if I ever make money doing this, I would love to have a microphone and maybe a better camera angle and all the things. But for right now, I hope that's okay. I'll use my crappy tripod there. That's a little better, right? This is a low production, high entertainment value YouTube page, okay? But yeah, Christmas will be here. Yesterday when I went to the store, the cashier's 14 days. I'm like, holy crap. So that's why we went and did that, even though I was tired from listing. The thing with reselling is, believe it or not, it's a lot of work. It is. And I'm trying to speed up. But I'm definitely a perfectionist, but I'm getting to the point where I'm dude, it has to be listed. I'm not going to make any money if it's not listed. I'll make $0. versus like the listing might not be perfect, but who cares? It gets sold. You know what I mean? So I've started using, as much as I'm somewhat against it, but I'm like, hey, I need to not be so stubborn. I'm starting to use AI in certain descriptions because I'm like, yeah, it's corny and whatever, but I don't have time to write out. It's already giving me the dimensions, and like that saves me time. And I have so much stuff to get listed that I'm like, whatever. And then if people have more questions, I can go down in the basement and look it up, because that's what one of my friends who does reselling, and she has way more product than me. She'll go down to her basement like once a week and look up items. So if people need more specifics, so I'm trying to get a little less. I have to know everything about every single thing I'm listing, and more just I got to get it up and running, and then if people are interested, I can look into that for them. That's the part of being a perfectionist that doesn't necessarily help you with the business side of myself, is it can slow you down. But it's good. I'm like processing my grief, going through, as much as I don't want to, I'm processing to a degree some of my grief, going through, like, especially the baby stuff. And I feel a little lighter. Like, I don't know how to explain it, as awful as it is. I feel a little lighter going through and, like, getting rid of certain things, or there's some stuff I'm going to donate. And I came across, going through stuff, it brings up things, which is why it's hard to go through items. Why some people wind up hoarding is because I think it's easier sometimes to just like push everything underneath and not deal with it. But I came across, I knew it was going to be hard, because I'm like, I'm going to come across baby stuff that I don't want to see with our repeated losses, which happened. But I also came across other stuff that I wasn't even, like, my friend passed away. One of my dear friends passed away, and I believe it was this past August. And I came across a Christmas card from her, which I'd like to think is a little hello from her, because me and her always did Christmas cards every year, and I still do. But I came across her card, and I was like, oh my God. And it just wasn't expecting that. It made me sad, but I'm also like, I think that's her way of kind of saying, like, Merry Christmas, you know what I mean? But it was so sweet, and it was like, her cards were just like an example of how amazing she was. Like, even her card, it was so, like, thoughtful, and so, like, I don't know. It wasn't just like a Merry Christmas card. It was like a long note that she wrote out to me. Just as an example of how she was such a good person. But I wasn't even thinking, oh, I'm going to come across this card and it's going to make me upset. But on the flip side, instead of being like, oh, this makes me sad, I'm trying to think, like, this is her saying hello and Merry Christmas, and yeah, showing that she is around this time of year. But it did make me sad, because it said in the card, like, looking forward to seeing you in Arizona. I never got to see her before she passed, because we were friends when I lived in Arizona, and still were, but, like, you know, I moved across country. I never got to see her again since we moved. And someone that brought up like, oh, I'm mad that I didn't get to say goodbye in person. But it is what, like, I can't change. You can't change, like, you can't change that when you don't get to say. It's always better for me when I get to say goodbye in person, as hard as that is, but that's okay. Like, the little things like that, you kind of, they do mean a lot, but it's like, I think she knows that if I could have, I would have been a person to say goodbye. I think she knows that. But anyway, so this time of year is a little tough because it reminds me of, I love this time of year, but it's also like, oh, it's bringing up memories of people I've lost who loved Christmas or made Christmas special for me. Is like also with my dad. Like, I'm remembering my dad also passed a year and a half ago, I guess. He also passed in August, and he like, I remember, like, when so we had a very difficult relationship and this, that, and the other, but I'll just give you the short end of the story, which is, like, you forget things, and then from your childhood, when you're mad at the person or whatever, we had a very tumultuous few years there, but, like, being that it's Christmas time, I'm remembering how he took me to light shows when I was a kid, and he took me like snow tubing in the Poconos once, like me and my sister, and he would take us sledding, and but on the flip side, he also would be super depressed every Christmas, and I don't know if that was due to his own childhood or what. I think it was his own issues, but he still tried to, in his way, make it special for us, even though on actual Christmas sometimes he would make it kind of not as happy as it could have been. Like, so I have like a lot of like conflicting feelings or whatever this time of year. Because I think my dad had mental health problems. So it was like he wanted us to have a happy Christmas, but then he couldn't get past like whatever mental health issues he had. But I am like remembering like at least he tried, but I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, he tried. I remember him like taking us to see Christmas lights in neighborhoods, and so it's not that he didn't try, but like he got in the way of himself, you know what I mean? And it's hard to explain, but yeah, like, and I'm remembering some of those good times that I might have forgotten because, especially as I got older, like, more of his issues, I think, started coming out. So it was hard to remember, like, oh yeah, he did take us to see, like, light shows, and he did take us to see Santa, and this, like, it's like, oh yeah, he did try. It's just some of his issues, I don't know, like, I feel like, yeah, he really took a turn when he got older in a bad way until he had his stroke. But I don't my siblings got to see that side of him that we got to see. That was like the good side, but he did show up for me and my sister probably more than the other ones. And it's just a shame like how it all went, but I'm trying to remember the good times, and I'm trying to pass that on to my daughter so that she as an adult loves Christmas, because I still love Christmas. I think because I had so many good times when I was younger before stuff, you know, kind of went sideways when I got older. So Christmas is still my favorite holiday, even though some things about it are bittersweet or whatever. Like, we also had our last, like, pregnancy loss around this time of year last year. So, that's been hard. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good holiday so far. We've already had snow, like, a few times. I think it's going to be a cold winter, is my guess. Yes, I cooked a lot. Yeah, not yesterday, but the day before I cooked a lot, and I have all these dishes to do, because we were running around yesterday. I was like, I don't need to work out. I think I'm going to get my steps in just from all the running around. And I was getting overwhelmed with, like, not listing and all the stuff we got to get rid of. So, and guess what? I got in 7,000 steps yesterday. Not working out, just running my butt off. And the way our house is set up, like, I will get in that many steps without even trying when I'm relisting, because I'm not crazy about the layout of this house, but the good thing is it makes me work out as somebody with ADHD without trying, because our house is like a 3-story house. Like, we kind of have a weird layout. So a lot of my stuff for reselling, I keep in the basement. But then when I do pictures and post stuff online, I do that in upstairs because it has better lighting. You know, our basement's not finished. I have the table where the white table I take pictures on is upstairs. So I often am running up and down the steps to get stuff to post. So it's like, it's a workout, man. And then plus we were running around at the Christmas thing and going to see my husband. So that's how I got all those steps in. Now today, I went to take Daisy to a gymnastics thing. So my daughter loves gymnastics. She's done it a couple times now, but it's really expensive to do it where she's been doing it. So I want to take her to, there's a gym I think near us that is like a fraction of the cost. So I want to check that out. They have an open gym. So open gym today. So I want to see how that goes, and if it goes well, maybe I'll sign her up for classes there. I don't know. It's just this time of year, I don't really like signing her up for stuff just because it's so busy with the holidays. And I don't know. I feel like all my doctor appointments and vet visits and license renewal, like you name it always seems to happen this time of year. So along with the holiday madness, like, and insurance gets renewed, this, that, and other. So one of my friends is also signing her daughter up for ice skating right now, and I'm like, maybe, but I want to wait till Christmas is over. Like, my mother-in-law's like, oh, sign her up for gymnastics now, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Or she wanted me to sign her up for something, and I'm like, no, not around the holidays. After the holidays, sure, but during the holidays, I'm busy enough. I don't think that's a good idea, and I'm glad I put my foot down and said no, because this time of year is overwhelming without even, like, I know, now that I'm older, I know kind of more when I'm getting burnt out and stuff, so, and when to say no, and I'm at the no point for this time of year. I'm at the no point. Like, I had to take Daisy to the doctor's yesterday, and I had to take Flash to the vet, like, a couple, like, it's just, and then I had to do insurance, and then I still have to finish, but my license, some of my clearances were expiring, so I had to do that yesterday, and and it's still a process. I gotta go somewhere to get my fingerprints renewed on Monday, but, like, why is that? Like, either nothing's going on in your life or everything. I feel like that's how it goes. So, like, do they purposely try to schedule stuff when you're already busy or what? But, whatever. And, oh, we're finally, I think, refinance closing this coming Tuesday. I'll let you guys know, but we've been trying to refinance for forever because interest rates are crazy right now for everything, including mortgages. And we bought when it wasn't a very good market for buyers. And I've been trying to refinance for, like, since we moved in this house. And I think it's finally actually going to happen. So, not to jinx myself, but we have an appointment for that Tuesday, so, which is as far, I've never gotten to that part, so I'm like, there's a good chance it's gonna actually go through. With our last house, we refinanced, and there was no problem, there was no hold up or anything. Our mortgage rate was like, literally, guys, our interest rate at that time was like 2-something. I don't think we're ever going to get that kind of rate ever again. But we had to sell that house. And I'm glad we sold that house. But, yeah, we've been trying to get not even close to that, but a lower rate for so long. And I think finally, it's been a lot of, like, paperwork and time consuming, but it's finally gonna, I think, pay off. And going back and forth with the mortgage company and like, I don't know. I feel like they could make that process a lot easier, and they still keep, some of the mortgage companies I've been talking to, they can never seem to get our address right, even though I tell them like 10 times our address is this. Because when we bought this house, it's a new build, and they changed our address like 6 months into us moving here. And to this day, the mortgage companies will still say that we live in a different town than what we live in. It drives me nuts. And then we still have issues like refinancing because of that. with them having the address or the zip code wrong, and it's just, that part's been a nightmare with the new build. There's a couple downsides to buying a new build, and I would say that is one of them, is they changed their address. I don't know how common that is, but that was a nightmare between trying to refinance, between we've lost a lot of our mail, I think, during those 6 months. And a lot of our neighbors had issues too because they changed the address with like utility companies and just various. I remember we got a lot of packages that were supposed to go to our neighbors when we first moved in, and of course we gave them to them, but like just things like that, it's kind of chaotic when you move into a new build, especially if the development is still in the process of, like, our development's still not done yet, so it kind of makes things chaotic. I don't know if our development will ever finish. Hopefully eventually it will, but they're still not done. They've been fighting, I guess, for a while with the township to finish it. I don't know if they'll ever get clearance or not. But I don't know. It gets very complicated sometimes with construction and building. From what I've seen, I'm glad I'm not in that business because it's kind of, it seems like a headache sometimes. More than a headache. Like getting your permits and getting things approved, and then even when you do all that, if the township doesn't approve or the borough or whatever, nightmare. Like I just have a headache about it from being a buyer of a new build, so I can't imagine how difficult it must be sometimes as the developer. But at the same time, like there has to be rules, there has to be, I understand that, like you don't want them just developing, you know, in areas where there's protected wildlife or just doing environmentally unsafe things or building not up to code. Like, yeah, you don't want that happening, but some, in states probably like Pennsylvania, that's an old state and has had government around for forever, I can also see where it's probably so overkill trying to get something done, I think, sometimes. And then they wonder why we have a housing issue here. But it's everywhere. There's a housing problem. And I think it's a mix of reasons, depending where you live. Anyways, you guys are quiet today. Alright, well. I guess I better get going. Anyway, happy Friday, TGIF. I got one more dish to collect, or a couple. Got a couple. Yes, my neck is still hurting me, but not nearly as bad as it was. Welcome to your 40s, kids. Your neck's gonna kill you sometime. I didn't do the dishes for one day. Look at all these dishes. It's insane. I need to eat something here. God, that lid's hard to get off. I got a different flavor of this, by the way. Which I feel like this is helping me so much with my PCOS. No, it's not sponsored, I'm just saying. I also read that supposedly it's good for hyperthyroidism too, which I don't have hyperthyroidism, but whenever I've gotten labs, sometimes they look into me having hypo because like the weight gain, the pregnancy losses, this, that, and the other. A lot of times hypothyroidism goes along with autoimmune. Well, I think just thyroid problems in general. Like, anybody with autoimmune problems or hormonal disruption can have thyroid problems. So anyway, they've done a bunch of tests on me looking at my thyroid from like the pregnancy losses and PCOS and blah, blah, blah. But it usually almost comes back like I have hyperthyroidism, not hypo. Because why else? I have everything atypical in my genes or something. And of course, like usually hyperthyroidism and PCOS do not, but usually it's the opposite. But anyway, I was looking it up and I guess this inositol is sometimes used to help with hyperthyroidism. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's helping with, like, it seems like my thyroid is a little bit overactive to begin with. So anyway, I've had so much more energy lately, and I think some of it's from that supplement. That's, I think, helping with a couple things. That inositol or whatever is good for a couple different things, not just PCOS apparently. All right, anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here. Happy Friday, happy holidays. Yo, quiet.